now, we are talking about initiating litigation. Okay, someone starting up in the litigation sense. So, what would make sense for someone who is a beginner? Someone is just starting up in the area of litigation. What is something that would really work? First of all, it has to be okay. There has to be an availability of work in the area. So you cannot get into domains, or you can't get into situations which would have relatively less amount of work as it comes, or you can't get into a situation either which has been there or which is there since ages. So the supply is a lot. Okay, there's a lot of supply of lawyers. So like if someone is looking to get into or fight cases like 138 cases, there are loads of junior lawyers or loads of people who are actually dealing with that cases, right? So you cannot look at, there has to be availability of work, but at the same time you cannot look at areas which are already crowded and which already have a lot of different people. Okay, so these things have to be there. You have to look at something which has definitely work. You can visibly see that there's work available, and you can see that there is going to be work available for the foreseeable future, as well as there is not isn't a crazy supply of lawyers or people who are already dealing with these matters. Okay, so because of this, surge, there will be a lot of delegation of work, lot of referrals, lot of collaborations. Because just think of it like, I mean, any lawyer or any person, however senior or however they are not going to refuse work totally which comes to them, right? No one will refuse work which comes to them. So the way they will deal with is that a lot of parts of the work will start to be delegated. Okay, and then a lot of work will start to be referred, because you still want to be in the picture. You don't want to send the client away and say that I'm not going to take this work. When the work comes, you are going to take it. Okay, so what will happen is there will be delegation, because like at a level where people are able to do, or at some decently senior level where people are able to take the cases, it will become like a lot of crowding that will start to come, and which will become difficult for people to, especially in NCLT. The situation is that there are a lot of individual lawyers who are practicing, right? Law firms are there for sure, but a lot of individual lawyers or counsels are also practicing in NCLT. And with them, when the work comes, there will start to be delegation, there will start to be referrals, there will start to be collaborations happening. Okay, because you don't want to refuse the work that comes to you, but you want to start to give a little chunk of it, or refer, at least get something out of it. So these things is going to happen. And then junior lawyers who are efficient and know how to draft and communicate with clients. Okay, these people will suddenly be required by seniors who will spend their time before the benches, or for that matter in virtual hearings. Okay, because someone who presents before the bench needs to have certain degree of experience, or some idea of how to deal with the matters. So there, and if they have many hearings or many cases happening, okay, what will happen is that they will start to delegate their drafting and communicating with the clients and coordinating kind of work to junior people who are really efficient, because that is how they will build their capacity, right? Like that is how their capacity building will happen. So you therefore have really good chances to get through to work with them if you can establish a track record that you really know how to draft. Okay, you know how to draft, so you can take on that work, you can take on the office part of the work, you can take on the drafting part of work, you can take on the gathering information, coordination, client communication part of work, so that all they are free to do is actually to be present, in the hearings and in the cases, and before the tribunals, even for getting work and all. Okay, so you have good chances if you know this. Okay, because people will be looking for juniors who can do this really well. So people have realized the value of remote work now. So it's a possibility that junior lawyer sitting in Jaipur, Rajasthan is drafting the documents for a lawyer in Mumbai or Delhi. Why not? Like, you realize that, you can do things over the internet. It's not necessary for someone to sit in your office and draft something in front of you. It is not necessary for that to be done. As long as someone is completing that work at their own homes and providing you in the proper time, like on the deadline for completing your work, you will be happy to, they, like, the lawyers will be happy to give that work to people like that. They'll be happy to pay people like that also, who are capable to complete the drafting and all of that work, right? So also what happens in litigation is sometimes, like, the payments have to be really tightly kind of negotiated. And I've spoken to a lot of lawyers who will kind of tell me this, that often clients will kind of negotiate for total payments, like, kind of lump sum payments, although many people do hold that strength to negotiate, like per hearing and all of those, but still clients will kind of start to negotiate total payments, which is very difficult for them, because if they are attending multiple hearing, it's their time that is getting in those cases, right? So they would want, if someone can, like, take over the lesser degree of work, okay, at a lower cost, okay, compared to what they will be finding, let's say, on hiring a full-time person in their offices or something like that. They will want someone that, if someone can do it for a lesser cost, okay, then it will reduce their amount or quantum of work. If you are a quick learner, you can even grab new cases which will come along, because your seniors will be bogged down with existing cases. I let's leave questions at the end. I think I will just begin with. I will just deal with this. We can deal with questions. Now, if you're a quick learner, you can grab new cases which come along, because the seniors will be bogged down with existing cases itself. Okay? This is especially possible because virtual hearings are permissible in cases where both parties are agreeable for the hearing to be virtual. Okay, so physical hearings in NCLTs are on. Okay, despite COVID, physical hearings are on before the NCLT. But where both the sides are stating and asking for the hearing to be virtual, then it will be carried out on a virtual basis. It will be virtual. Okay. So this is what has happened. Like, over 750 lawyers have asked for continuation of virtual hearings at NCLT's Mumbai bench. Okay, because there's a spike of COVID now. People don't want. And courtrooms, I am told uh, by someone practicing in Delhi, that courtrooms, for physical hearings are still packed. Okay, there is nothing, like, there, the social distancing is very difficult to maintain in such cases, so courtrooms are still packed. Okay, so virtual hearings are likely to be go on.